And for more on the devastation that Hurricane Matthew has caused and its threat to the United States, we want to bring in meteorologist Paul Williams from Accuweather. He joins us now from Pennsylvania. Paul, give us the latest.
Well, the latest is that we still have Matthew holding on to Category 4 status with winds at 130 miles per hour. Now, remember, for Category 4, it's between 130 up to about 156. The barometric pressure right now is at 939 millibars. Location, 26.6 north, 78.9 west. The eye is now 75 miles east of West Palm Beach, with the movement still moving very rapidly to the northwest at 13 miles per hour. Look at the tremendous bands that's associated with this system, and you can see that defined eye just under the E here with our West Palm Beach logo. We're seeing the pounding that's happening with these waves, and we still have the active hurricane warning along the eastern side of the state. Now, that's where we're expecting the greatest impact, and even though we're looking at extreme versus high versus moderate, where you have moderate, that's where we actually have the tropical storm warnings in effect, but we still have the hurricane warnings along the East Coast, which includes flooding rains, damaging winds, coastal flooding, and life-threatening seas. We're literally seeing this change over. And take a look at the wind profile. Now, we've been mentioning, as we've been tracking this thing, that it's causing havoc along I-95. That's still the case. Even though you're looking at the worst of the wind profile just off the coast, however, you see this little slice right here. That's right along 95, and that's where we're looking for the range of 80 to 100 mile per hour winds. Do you remember yesterday when we were talking about the possibility of this storm turning around or pulling a trick on us? Well, this is another one of those cases where we were kind of on top of this prior to it happening. This is actually trying to pull a fast one on us because it's going to continue to approach us as a Category 4. Downgrade to a Category 3 as it kind of skips along the Florida coast. And now the model's indicating it's going to veer back out towards the water. Now, good news is it's expected to weaken down to a tropical storm. That's the difference between the ones and the twos you see here versus the hole in the middle that's indicating the tropical storm. But here's the other side of that thing, which is not so great. It's hooking to such an extent, it may actually come right back into the southeast coast. The same thing we talked about yesterday, now it's looking like more of a reality because more of the models are lining up with this very odd possibility with this unique hurricane.
And Paul, talk to us about that, because a tropical storm, one thinks, well, that's a step down, but still it's drenching rain. It's kind of a double punch, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's literally a haymaker followed by a jab instead of a jab first with a typical classical boxer way of approaching a fight. So we get hit with the haymaker first, but we're going to be softened up so much that this jab literally can knock you out. And let me show you why, because we still have the active hurricane warning right along the coast here, and we want to break this down as far as each one of the warnings are concerned. We still have an active hurricane warning. Savannah, Georgia to Daytona Beach, Florida, down to Boca Raton, Florida. Then the tropical storm warnings. And I'm so glad you asked that question because people begin to kind of zone out. Just because it's a tropical storm doesn't make it any less important or dangerous. You're still talking about 50 to 74 mile per hour winds. That can cause damage and take lives just as easily. And then we have the tropical storm watch, which is still in effect. And in addition to that, take a look at this. Current wave heights. And remember, this has yet to make land. This is ahead of the curve right now. 17 feet, 13 feet. I want you to imagine 16 feet of water coming straight at you. And that's something that you have to take seriously, whether you're in the tropical storm zone or the hurricane zone.
Wow, it's really a monster storm. Paul, thanks so much for that update. Really appreciate it.